Oh, I don't pay for suits. My suits are on the house, or the house burns down.
Welcome back to the Red Right Hand Podcast, the show that covers each and every episode of the BBC/Netflix hit TV show, The Peaky Blinders. I'm Josh.
And I'm Curtis.
And if you are looking for a Peaky Blinders podcast with two Americans who give poor takes on British history, you found it.
Yeah. We are so smart. I mean,
we're doing the best we can.
We are Americans, okay? We think we know everything.
So this is just British history according to how we think it went.
Yes. According to our little world over here.
Yeah. So we are back for Season 3, Episode 1. After our week hiatus.
I'll say it feels like a couple of months since we sat here and did this thing.
I think it's just been a couple weeks.
No, it's been a couple of weeks. I'm just saying it feels like it's been a lot longer since I sat in this chair and talked into this microphone.
Okay.
Not for you? No?
Did you miss it that much? That you?
No, I'm not saying it. Well, I mean...
Feels like forever.
I don't want to say I didn't miss it, but like I'm just saying it feels like it's been a while since I did this podcast.
Okay. Yeah, it does feel like it's been a little bit.
I mean, I know I was on the fence about almost getting fired, but yeah, no, I'm just kidding. Maybe that's why we were gone for a couple weeks. He was contemplating firing me.
Like, you know what? We'll keep him on for now.
We had a meeting. The board met with each other, and we decided we'll go and keep him.
Yeah,
we'll keep looking, though, while he's on the show.
And it probably feels that way a little bit, too, because it has been several weeks since we did our episode for Season 2, Episode 6.
Right, and that's probably what it is, because we did do
the last one was the IRA.
Yeah, the history on the IRA, which, once again, here's two Americans trying to teach you the history now on Ireland.
I think it went okay.
No, I think it went okay, too. I'm just going off of what you were saying earlier.
All right, so should we get into it?
Yeah, expectations for the season? Maybe some murder, some crimes.
Yeah.
Lots of blood.
Season 1 and 2 are the two seasons that I've watched the most times through.
Yeah.
So I feel like I remember a lot more about those. I still remember the general premise for Season 3, I feel like. Once we start getting into Season 4, Season 5, as you and I discovered a couple weeks ago, I have very little knowledge of what happened during those seasons.
I remember them, but the problem that I always have is I always get Season 3 and 4 mixed up with, like, who the, I guess you could say, quote-unquote, bad guy is.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. Their adversary, I guess you could say, of the Shelby family. But, yeah, I always get those two seasons mixed up, but yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah.
And I still can't believe, though, because we watched it together not so long ago, I still can't believe
Season 5?
that, yeah, you don't remember what happened in Season 5.
I know.
Because I'm sitting here, like, reminding you, like, that really happened? What?
I remember some of it, but I don't remember it as a whole. Like, you brought up a couple things to me that I was like, no, you're messing with me. Like, I don't remember that happening at all.
This is a joke, right? Yeah. Of course, yeah, they weren't. I was telling you things that weren't like major to the plot line of Season 5, I guess. But
yeah,
I mean they were a part of it,
but it's
no. I'm saying they weren't.
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's major, but it
obviously contributes to the story.
Yeah,
just not in a big way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, one of them was a big marriage that has some import that I just didn't completely blacked out. I guess I was like, no, that didn't happen.
You are yanking my chain right now.
That's how you do it. You're American. I don't have to change my opinions based on the facts that are presented to me.
All right, well, let's get into Season 3.
So it's been 2 years since they basically took over Sabini's racetrack operations. since Tommy was taken by the Red Right Hand and told that Winston Churchill would be contacting him soon, that they had business. So we get 2 years after that. It's Tommy's wedding to Grace, which is kind of weird that it's been 2 years. Honestly, that didn't really even dawn on me until right now that why is it 2 years after they've like been back together until they've gotten married?
He probably kept giving him the old line of, "I've got business. I've got business to do right now." Who knows how much stuff that he was trying to take care of with Sabini, still trying to clean that up. Because I mean, yeah, they ran all his guys off the track. It seemed like they won, but he didn't kill him. Kind of like he did in the first season with whatever his name was, Billy Kimber.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there were still some loose ends that need tying up. And as we see here pretty quickly, he had to go about trying to get a new house, that huge mansion.
Yeah, and it's not in Birmingham. I think Warwickshire was what I saw.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, Warwickshire. And I don't know how
Hey, I
far
don't know.
outside Birmingham that is. I can't imagine
You
very
can
far.
figure it out. I mean, I know that name. I've heard it before. Oops.
I thought it said. I don't even know if I want to say this. Worcestershire. I thought it was that at first, but it's
don't worry, because I thought that before.
It's Warwickshire.
Not this time, but I think it was actually maybe in the first time I ever watched the show. You can't have to look at it again.
Yeah.
So it's like southeast of Birmingham, like right next to Birmingham, basically.
Okay.
So not far.
So the wedding, down the middle there, you've got Tommy, Arthur. I think it's Tommy and Arthur, right?
I think so.
They're standing
Yeah.
up at the front. And one side is Grace's family, which is essentially just the cavalry.
Right.
All of her family were in the military. And then on the other side is the Blinders. I just made a note that when Jeremiah comes in to marry them, the look of disgust on all of the cavalry's faces.
All of a sudden, it makes you think of that Family Guy scene you were talking about just a little bit ago with Walt Disney.
Oh,
Or not,
yeah, yeah.
No, I'm sorry, American Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Ugh.
So after they're married, it's a pretty short little ceremony there. They don't drag this whole thing out really long.
Thank God.
So as they're taking some wedding photos, Tommy notices kind of a stranger in the group. And that was the first time that he acknowledged that guy,
Yeah.
and that we kind of see him.
That's the first time he appears, yeah.
Yeah. I don't say anything about him yet, but I think his name is Kaladin. Is that right?
I believe so, yep.
So that's when we see the new house, at least from the outside. And what do you say? Warwickshire? Is in Warwickshire?
Yeah. Now, there was something, because they're showing, at one point here in the very beginning, they're showing, around their house, and there's this one picture that I didn't notice until this time I rewatched it. It's a picture of Grace and Tommy at the Statue of Liberty. Did you ever see that before?
Yes.
I never noticed that one before. So there's your other thing, too, is obviously they went on a trip to America.
Yeah.
Maybe doing some business?
Probably. Because...
I mean, they're already getting... From the last season, he's already getting imports and exports to America through his export license from Churchill, through his demands with Campbell and everything like that. So maybe he went there on some business too, but yeah, just never noticed that picture before.
Yep, you find something new every time you watch it.
This is true, man. Little details.
I made a note that I really hated the song that played during the montage of everybody, them riding the carriage back to the house and
Yeah,
everybody
what-
around the
What
house.
was it?
I didn't see. A lot of times it'll pop up with like the name of the song or whatever,
Yeah.
but I didn't see who it was. But it's very.
Give us a sample.
No. I think it's somebody who does some other music for the show because it sounds familiar. The voice does,
Yeah.
but the music was like almost kind of mariachi, but with the way he was singing and his accent
Oh.
and stuff, it sounded so off-putting.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
I don't know. It was just really weird. Like the two things didn't go together.
Didn't match.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Of a low point in the music.
Yeah, I was
Hearing,
not feeling that.
Yeah.
But
That's
this
not a
is kind
good
of a
start to
weird,
season 3, though.
This is a weird episode
Yeah,
for music.
it's definitely. I think overall it's just kind of a. It's just a different episode than what we're usually used to.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's all. One thing is it's all happening in real time, basically. I mean, it's over a span of one day, one night.
Yeah.
You know.
There's no
Whereas
time jumps or anything.
Yeah, like we have in other episodes.
Tommy tells Polly they're having like a little reception afterwards, and Tommy tells Polly that there's some people here who aren't on the list. And I didn't catch it before, but is the painter also not on the list?
That's a good question.
Because he said that he slept with like an officer's wife or something, and the aristocracy doesn't believe in forgiveness. And so I wondered if I didn't think he was a part of like.
What does that even mean? What? For some reason, I'm lost.
We'll get there.
Okay, yeah. Because I don't get like how does that? I don't know. How'd you get to this party, bro? Who left the door open for you?
Oh yeah, that was the thing, and he's sitting on Grace's family's side of the table, though.
Even at the church, he's doing it too, because he's
Yeah.
at the church. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Who knows? Mystery Man. Ooh.
So we get the famous season 3 kitchen meeting. Tommy's basically just calling everybody out on their vices here. He says it's his wedding day. He doesn't want anybody messing anything up. Tells Finn no sucking gas out of the cars. Tells John no telling fortunes or gambling. So he's just kind of trying to make sure that even if something happens, like, I told you,
Right.
you know?
No cocaine.
Yeah.
No fighting.
Yeah. Most importantly, for every single person in that room, no fighting.
Well, and here's the problem too. I think why he said fighting, because he made that the most important, and we didn't cover this already, but they have this almost like a feud though with her family because they're cavalry, and they keep bringing it up about the cavalry in the war kind of left us in the mud. You know, they were late to the party. They showed up basically when the fighting was all over. And then at the same time, the cavalry's like, oh, no, man, we saved your butt, you know.
Yeah.
So there's just kind of like animosity between the two groups for sure.
Yeah. No, they definitely don't like each other. And there's supposed to be a prearranged agreement that the cavalry would not wear their uniforms to the wedding.
And they did.
But they have chosen to do so.
Families, aren't they great?
And then, of course, everybody loves the scene at the end there when the waiter bumps into Tommy and Tommy throws him on the ground and Arthur hits him with the bottle.
Yes. That poor
No
dude.
fighting except for this guy.
Yeah, that poor guy was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. So everybody's waiting downstairs on him, and Grace and Tommy are upstairs. Grace is just kind of getting ready. Kind of what's going on there is Grace feels like he's kind of closing himself off again. He's not telling her something. She can tell something's wrong, and he just tells her it's the business and that things aren't good. Like that business that he's having to deal with is, he says, a bad business, you know?
Yeah.
And we kind of don't know at this point what that is yet.
But she's mad that he's not letting her in.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it's like he's trying to protect her from it. It's better off if you just don't know.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like the IRA stuff that, you know, he did with his family. It's like, I need to take care of this on my own. I don't need you getting into it, you know?
Yeah. I did make a note. So before they go downstairs, they start kind of getting into it, and she says half the army is waiting downstairs or something like that, and he says they're the King's Irish. They'll wait a little bit longer, and I looked up King's Irish, and I could never find anything about what that meant.
No, he said their king is Irish.
Oh, on the closed captioning it said the king. It said King's apostrophe S
No.
Irish.
Oh, yeah, okay. Wait a minute. Their king's Irish.
I don't know if that means.
I think, no, because I think it's saying, like, well...
Is it saying like what we were
'cause
talking
it
about
would
in the
be,
last episode?
because it's apostrophe S, which would be king is,
No,
right?
no, it's possessive, like the king.
Oh, I thought it was the other way.
It is the king's. It belongs to the kings.
That's a weird way to say it. Maybe it's just an accent thing.
I think he's saying like what we talked about in the last episode. I think they're like English loyal Irishmen. Grace
Yeah.
is Irish. Her family is Irish.
Oh.
That's what I took it to kind of mean when I couldn't find anything about it.
Oh, okay. See what you did there.
I think they're like pro-treaties, you know?
Okay, yeah, okay. Which makes sense. And it's funny, though, because there is a part later on where Tommy is talking to one of them, and I didn't, excuse me, I didn't notice his accent, so I'm wondering if it's like Irish or not.
Her uncle has kind of a weird, it sounded British to me.
Maybe she's got a mixed family then.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway.
While everybody's just kind of sitting at the table, this stranger, the guy that it's Kaladin, Tommy says that he was somebody who's there who wasn't invited. He gets up and approaches Polly. He says he's a refugee from Russia. So we start kind of just a little bit here. You start getting that the Russians are who they're about to kind of start having some dealings with.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
It's never a good sign. Well, it's funny, too, because, like, she's sitting there talking to Lizzie? Yeah, Lizzie.
Yeah, Lizzie.
And so she's got her eye, and Polly does, on the painter. She likes him, you know, she's kind of checking him out.
Yeah. She says there's two making eyes at me.
There's two making eyes at me. Well, Lizzie accidentally says, well, she didn't accidentally, she just tells him one of them's coming over. And so she's like, oh, nope, that's the wrong one. And it's, what's his name, Kaladin, you said?
Yeah, the Russian.
The Russian. It's kind of an awkward moment there.
Yeah. Out in the hallway, Lizzie, I think it's her and Michael initially talking, right?
Oh,
and then
no,
Arthur, like...
No, you skipped a part. We're not there yet. We got to do Arthur's part. Arthur and Tommy talking upstairs.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Arthur goes up to. I don't know. I just didn't think there was much there.
Well, I just think like this is the start of like we're us seeing another change in Arthur. New season, new Arthur. Because one of the things, if you didn't notice, back at the church when they're showing both sides of the family, there's a woman sitting next to Polly, and we find out that that's Arthur's wife, Linda. Yeah, Linda.
And are they married already?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Because I think he says in his toast, I think he mentioned his wife, Linda.
Okay.
But anyway, she definitely has a hold on him. Of course, he's kind of a man that's kind of lost right now. It feels like,
Yeah.
you know, he doesn't really feel like he has too much of a purpose. He just kind of feels like he's, I don't know, just there. I guess he's the mad dog.
Yeah. And she's kind of taking him to a more peaceful place.
Yes, and she's pretty religious too, so he's dabbling in religion
Yeah.
and dealing with some demons and such. So now we can go to Michael and Lizzie.
Okay. There's just like so much back and forth in this episode, like scenes that don't last more than like a minute or two, that it's just
Right.
like whoop, 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 whoop. So Lizzie's upset that they wouldn't let her new boyfriend come to the wedding. And she's arguing with Michael. Arthur kind of gets involved. And Michael tells her that they did their research on him. They just had, what was it, 5 different names in the last
Something like that,
couple
yeah.
years. Like,
Some sketchy stuff going on.
yeah, and that he has connections with Naples. That's some people that they know in Naples that they don't want to get on the wrong side of, basically.
Right.
And so they wouldn't let him come. They won't let her date him. Which sounds, it sounds a little ridiculous, but at the same time, they're dealing with so many different foreign groups right now that they don't know who they can trust, and there's just a lot of opportunity for people to come at them.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so they have to be on their guard
Yeah.
24/7.
So Michael says,
365.
yeah. So Michael says that you got the order the same as us, and it's just no fraternizing with any what they would call foreigners,
Yeah.
just people that aren't in their circle.
Right.
After that, Arthur attempts to give his toast. He and Tommy had written something down for him to say, but he decides to deviate from that. Essentially what he says is that he's found the love of a good woman, and now that Tommy has, basically things are going to be great.
Well, and one of the things that Tommy has a bone to pick with him about is he kind of references Grace's past marriage to the one American, and we soon find out that it ended horribly. I mean, he committed suicide, and her family didn't know that. They didn't tell her family the truth about what happened to her first husband.
Yeah, they think it was an accident.
Yeah, so he kind of, I don't know, man. I don't like this Arthur.
No.
I want Mad Dog back.
Yeah. So Arthur's speech is just kind of a disaster.
Which leads to one of my favorite scenes where they're outside and they're kind of arguing, and Tommy starts chasing him around the fountain.
Yeah, and they're both running in dress shoes.
Yeah, and he ends up hurting his shin, and I was wondering if that was scripted or not.
I don't know, and I don't think he hit anything. I think he just had Doesn't Arthur always kind of walks with like a little bit of a limp?
Oh, you think it was
So I think it's just
like
like
a past injury or
previous,
something?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
interesting.
he didn't like hit anything.
He's committed to the part then.
Yeah.
Some method acting there.
Um, and Tommy just kind of lays out for him what's going on, why he needs him to be sharp and, not be the version of himself that Linda's kind of making him to be.
Well, he tells him straight up, it's like, look, you have a good wife, but in the future, it's not always good to listen to everything that Linda has to say. Sometimes you got to think for yourself,
Yeah. And he just kind of lays it all out for him. He says the Russians have made contact. That was the stranger at their wedding. And normally with the Russians, they go after family as a weakness. Somebody has a weak family, they tear them apart. But for Tommy's family, that's their strength. And every other time I watched it, I thought that Tommy was saying that was why the Russians sought them out, was because there's business to be done because they have a strong family.
Right.
But after watching it this time, I realized that they kind of meant it the other way, that's why Tommy feels like there's business to be done with them. Is
Right.
Because he doesn't have a weak family, so they won't be able to get to them like that.
Unless Arthur screws it up.
Yeah.
Which that's why I think he's freaking out right now, because it's like, look, man, I need you to tighten up. I need you to be a strength in this family, not a weakness.
Yeah. So Tommy goes ahead and tests Kaladin.
Yeah.
You only hear his name like once in the whole episode. He goes ahead and tests Kaladin. He has Polly ask him for a code name. That they said that when they made contact with the Russians on behalf of Churchill, that they would be given a code name. And he gives her one. And
do you remember what it was?
He says Constantine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you know the code word?
All I could think of was in the movie Constantine, where she's just saying that over and over. Constantine.
What was that? I couldn't hear you.
Constantine.
So the meeting is on.
Yeah. Because it kind of makes you think in the moment there that like everything's good,
Yeah.
Like, oh, we gave
We're good, man. We're good.
he gave the code name. We're good to sit down and talk some business now.
Well, best to leave him thinking, if that's the wrong code, it's best to leave him thinking that, oh, you're still safe. We're still good. We're
Yeah.
not suspicious of you. Which, well, we'll get into that later. Go ahead.
So Tommy kind of starts putting together a distraction. He tells John to get a horse race going between somebody from the cavalry and Finn. They're going to place some bets on it.
Let's say, so now he's breaking his own rules?
Yeah, a lot of them.
He's fighting with his brother. Now he's wanting him to gamble. What else is he going to do? Cocaine?
I think it just shows that's who they are.
Yeah. And I got to follow the rules.
Yeah. And the race and the boxing match that's kind of set up after that are all just kind of a distraction from the things happening around it.
Right.
He sets this one up to take a meeting with Kaladin in the barn, or out by the stables. The stables. He says it like 1,000 times later. Kaladin basically tells him that he's made a lot of like higher up enemies.
That Tommy has.
Yeah, he's made some enemies with the Soviet embassy, people in his own government, just a lot of the higher ups.
Which here's the thing is, Kaladin represents the former, so Russia, what they would call Russia, whereas then there's the Soviets, the communist. Just to kind of get some clarification.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I thought. Yeah, we'll get there. Oh, okay. So they just kind of have a little back and forth, and there's supposed to be an exchange of money. The money is supposed to be given on contact. So that's another thing that kind of sets Tommy off, is like, this guy doesn't have the money on him.
Yeah.
Like, and the money is supposed to be given on on first contact.
Right. So there's some things kind of rising up that are kind of sketchy.
Yeah. He says the Duke's niece. Where's this guy the Duke of?
See, that's, I don't know.
The Duke of Georgia, which I also don't get this whole Georgia situation. Where is Georgia outside of the United States? Like the country.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. All of a sudden, this made me think of a couple of years ago when we were watching that soccer match, and it was in, like, I don't know, like in Ohio or something like that, and the stadium was right next to a lake, and you thought it was the Atlantic Ocean.
I don't
remember
that
that,
at all.
man? That was hilarious. I was like, no, that's a lake. You're like, no, that's the Atlantic Ocean. I'm like, this is in Ohio. Anyway, Georgia, the country, not the state, is in Eastern Europe. It's like, I think it's right on the border of Russia, maybe.
Okay.
But it's a country.
I'm aware
at least it
that
was.
It's a country. I just have no idea where it is.
Is it still a country? I can't remember. I think it is.
I don't know.
I think it's still a country. But anyway, it's in Eastern Europe. But it was a big part of, like, at that time period of the whole, like, Soviet takeover and everything like that in Russia. Anyway. But the whole deal, so, like, go back to, like, World War One. You know, Russia was in, they were an ally. They were part of the Allies in World War One, but then they withdrew, like, I don't know, we'll say halfway through the war, and the reason they withdrew was because they ended up having a civil war in their country between basically the old Republic of Russia and Soviets and communists, and which ended up turning Russia into, you know, the Soviet Union, and so. The guy who was ruling Russia at the time, Nicholas II, was actually, like, I think cousins of King George V, I think, who was king of Britain at that time, back in, like, World War One period.
Okay.
Well, his family ended up getting, like, murdered by Soviets, and Nicholas's family.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were on the run trying to escape, you know, Russia and trying to get out. But anyway, I'm thinking that this family that we're about to deal with is part of that family, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. At least they're some type of royalty, I think. Now, whether they're tied into that family or not, I don't know. It would make me wonder that they are, because of, you know, Churchill and basically the government of Britain kind of dealing with this too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. So, I don't know, maybe if they kind of feel like they have an obligation too because it's family of their king. But then, I mean, obviously there's other things going on too. You know, more than just, oh, well, we'll help you out because you're family or something, you know?
Yeah.
But, I don't know. We'll find out.
But it's the Duke's niece, and she apparently has the money. Just kind of, he tries to flex a little bit. Tommy just says that he'll have the police pick her up in Birmingham.
It's a bad neighborhood, you know?
Yeah. She's also bringing 10,000, like not 10,000 pounds or quid, or like she's bringing 10,000 American dollars, which is kind of
$10,000.
Yeah, pretty. I mean, here in a bit, once we start talking about the money, that's going to bring us back to that picture of the two of them in New York.
Okay.
So after that, we get a short little scene with Michael and this girl who's been asking around about cocaine all night.
Yeah, the cocaine. I heard there was cocaine.
Basically, just that in London, they hear that all these guys in Birmingham are gangsters. And just at that time, that was a really... I don't know exactly how to put that. It was it was sought after, you know? Like, women were really taken during that, like, you know, the gangster era.
Right.
Like, by those guys. Because a lot of them, they had charisma. You know, like they were, and like you have to, you're able to talk people into doing these things.
They had the cojones.
But a lot of these guys were smooth talkers, and a lot of them very handsome. Like, so they dress really well. They have a lot of money. They're desirables.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these girls from London are kind of, I don't know how some of these girls got to this wedding. It's kind of weird. Some of these people don't seem to be with anybody.
Well, didn't she say something about she just like hopped on a train and came? How she got word of this though, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. But there's a lot of people there that we don't really see that we know are there. Like a bunch of the Lee family is there.
Yeah.
And we only see Johnny Dogs and like two other guys. So I don't know. Who knows who all's there?
True.
Probably a lot of friend, you know, business friends, and she might be the daughter of a colleague of Tommy's or something.
Maybe so. Yeah.
Who knows?
But all we know is she's there for the cocaine.
Yeah. And basically, her and Michael just kind of share in this little moment of both of our lives are mapped out, but tonight we're not going to be either of those people.
Right.
You know? So after that, again, just kind of this reception party. Grace and Polly talk. At first, it seems kind of pleasantries, but then it's revealed that they still do not like each other at all. Grace is kind of trying to pry some stuff out of Polly. She basically just plays her to, you know, she lets Polly know that Tommy's told her all about the Russian business, and that Polly, trying to let her know that she knows something she doesn't, tells her that there's business happening tonight.
Right.
I liked the line from Grace. It was like, "Don't forget, I used to do this for a living." Like,
Yeah, don't remind us.
So Grace and Tommy have their first dance, and she, as husband and wife, and she basically just kind of takes some vows from him out there while they're on the floor. She wants him to get this, you know, this business with the Russians done, and let that be kind of the end of all their dangerous business. She wants to run their foundation, which is a charity to give back to the poor in Birmingham. I realize we haven't really talked about the foundation, but they haven't really mentioned it very much.
There's just a lot of things that's happened in the last 2 years, for sure.
Yeah. She wants to run the foundation for Tommy, and Tommy can focus on the racetracks and the automobile exporting, which they, you know, is their basically completely legal side of the business now.
Right.
And he agrees to, and they're just kind of sharing this moment of, you know, the one last job moment.
Right.
But it's never one last job.
Just one more.
Yeah.
Will it ever be a last job?
Moss goes, picks up Tatiana. We don't see that, but he goes and picks her up and brings her back to Tommy's house. Tommy, Arthur, they take Isaiah with them, but I don't think he gets out of the car.
Finn's out of the car.
Yeah, well, Finn was waiting
Finn's
at the
there.
gatehouse. Yeah, Finn was supposed to be
Where's John?
at the gatehouse. I don't know.
Man, there's not much John in this episode.
Yeah, there really isn't.
We need more John.
Oh, so Tatiana. Tatiana Petrovia? Petrovia?
Petroleum?
Tatiana.
T-Dog.
Yeah. T-Dog. She shows up. Like we said, she's the Duke's daughter. We don't really know anything about her at this time.
Dude, she's crazy.
Yeah, she is crazy.
She's a nut job.
She brings the
Psycho.
money. It's kind of a weird deal between her and Tommy. She's wanting to see Kaladin.
Well, you can tell on his face from like the moment he's like Moss's car is pulling up, you can tell he's not in a good mood. So something's up.
Yeah.
He's very stone faced about it, and like almost like a 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like you said, she wanted to see Kaladin,
Yeah.
whatever. And he basically just comes right out and says he gave the wrong name.
Yeah.
It's not Constantine.
Yeah.
To which she wants to play the game. Well, okay, what name did he give? Nope. Nope, we're not playing this game.
Yeah. Like, oh, I've met him
'Cause, like,
before. I recognize him. Does he have dark hair?
Right.
Or-
You don't know who's who, because now you're suspicious of this guy. Is he really on the Duke's side? Is he really with you people? Or is he a spy? Is he a communist?
Yeah.
Because here's the other weird thing, too, was we did skip over this part, at the dare table, when they were waiting for Tommy and Grace to come down, he was having a conversation with Ada about communism.
Yes.
So that starts to kind of give you some hints that this guy may not be who he really says he is.
Yeah.
Not that he was like flat out, wearing the communist flag, but he was obviously engaging her in a conversation that wasn't like a debate.
Yeah. I might have it wrong, but this was one of the parts that kind of confused me a little bit.
Okay.
Tommy tells Tatiana that they were told anyone who gave the wrong name would be an infiltrator for the Soviet embassy.
Right.
Okay. But didn't you say... Oh, no, but you were saying the Soviets are the communists at
They
this
are,
time,
yes.
right?
The
Okay.
Soviet Union and communism, it's the same thing.
Okay.
That is, they are one
So
together.
who's not the communists right now then?
They're basically, I would just call them old republics. So they are Russia, because this isn't Star Wars, not the old republic.
Knights of the Old Republic.
No, it's just I don't really know exactly what you would call them, but pre-Soviet Union, they called it Russia.
Yeah.
And then once the communists took over, it was Soviet Union.
Okay, gotcha.
So this is, like I said, it's the old republic, basically.
Okay. I guess that
They are
was
non-communist.
just what had confused me before.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and there's not really much else there. They just kind of go back and forth a little bit. He has him count the money. Money's good. Tommy just wants to get out of there. So he has her taken back to Birmingham. She asks him, though, before they leave, if he can do it, if he can kill. And I just thought it was, I don't know, he's researched them so well. And I'm like, did you guys not research him at all? Because they've buried hundreds of men. It's just such a stupid line. It's like, can you kill? It's like, yeah, he's killed hundreds of people.
Yeah, but I always kind of took it, well, I don't want to say I always took it. There was always a part of me, though, that kind of wondered if she meant it more for, her entertainment. Can you do it? Ooh, can you kill somebody?
Right, she just
because
wanted
she's crazy,
to, hear
man.
him say it, maybe.
She's crazy. We're going to find out. She's insane.
Yeah.
So I always kind of took that more, or like I said, I didn't always take it, but like part of me wondered if that was just like her own like weird kink, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. She's a real sick one.
Yeah, she's weird.
So after that, they go back to the house. Tommy kind of has to fill in Arthur on what's going to happen next. How they're going to have to handle this, why they're doing this, who all's involved. And to Arthur, it just kind of seems like they had a prearranged deal and all this stuff is just getting added to it, basically. Like, having to kill this guy is just something extra now, you know?
Well, it was like, I mean, this is plan A or plan B, and if he gives the wrong name and we are suspicious of him, we're going with plan B. We have to kill this dude.
Yeah.
And of course, it's kind of...
Yeah, and Tommy said, Tommy says in the car, he works for the Reds and we're paid by the Whites.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and Arthur doesn't, he's kind of pushing back. He's just kind of sick and tired of the whole deal of, like, I'm the one who's got to do all, well, he's just tired killing, and he's a changed man.
Yeah.
New season, new Arthur.
Yeah. He's tired of Tommy pointing the gun and him just having to pull the trigger constantly.
Right, exactly.
But he kind of tries to explain it all to Arthur. He says the king, Winston Churchill, half the Tory party all want to see this get done. They're all basically going to make sure that they do it.
Right.
And that kind of that was where I was thinking about before the $10,000, because Tommy tells Arthur, this is, we're making more money now than we ever have. There's going to be 10 times this, when we get all this done. And they're planning on buying those docks in Boston so that they can ship there and
without having to have the export license from Churchill, you think?
Yeah, probably.
Go around all that. Be like, look, I don't have to have you have no way of
no leverage.
No leverage, yeah. That's okay, yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because I own this dock, I can just go to this dock myself.
They go back inside, and this is where I think Polly's talking with the painter, right?
Well, they had a little conversation before Tommy and Arthur pulled up in the car, and they were arguing, just what we were just talking about. But there wasn't too much important about it. That's when he had said why he was there, or how he's related to somebody or whatever. Which it was something about, like you said, sleeping with somebody's.
Yeah, he slept with like an officer's wife or something, right?
Yeah, I think something about like she babysat him or something. I don't know, man. It was weird.
Ha. Okay. Well, they're having a little conversation, and Tommy comes in and interrupts. The guy kind of tries to, make some small talk with him or introduce himself or whatever, but Tommy just doesn't really care. There's business,
Right. He's got business on his mind. Pardon me, I have to go kill somebody.
Yeah. So he talks to Polly and Romani.
What did he say?
I can't remember what he said. Do you remember?
He said, we tossed the coin, Arthur lost. Basically saying he pulled the short straw. He's going to have to go kill him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
To which then he tells the band director, like double time or something like that. Or
he says ragtime.
Ragtime, that's it, yeah.
Yeah. And I made a
Faster,
note
louder.
because it's... I don't know. It was just funny to me because like I bet a lot of people didn't think about it, but when they start playing, and they're playing ragtime, they're playing louder, faster music, somehow defying the time period, some very loud guitar amps kick in, and there's like some super distorted like guitar being played in there.
Noticed.
And there's no guitar player.
What is this
up there.
beautiful noise I hear?
Yeah, there's no guitar player out there. So it was just funny. It's a good song that they start playing, but it was just funny to me.
Well, not even that. There's no such thing as guitar amps at this time.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, I think it's for the music or the
For the effect.
setting the scene. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what you were talking about before. Kaladin and Ava we don't really even know if this guy is Kaladin. Kaladin could be the guy that the Russian chick knows, or he could be this guy. We're not really sure.
His name could be Bob.
Yeah, we don't ever really know this guy's true name.
And to be honest, he does look like a Bob. I'm not gonna lie.
He's at least pretending to be a guy named Kaladin.
Right. Interesting name to pick, though, if that is a fake name.
Yeah. But he and Ava are talking a little bit about politics. It's literally like a 2-second conversation before Arthur comes in.
Well, and to me, this really shows him more that he's not who he says he is, because he's like, oh, so you're the only communist in your family, huh? He seems like he's really taking an interest in her and her political views. And then that's when he was like, are you very close with your family? So he's trying to, play that card too of, trying to pull somebody away from their family.
Yeah.
Find the weak spot, I guess. This part though is funny to me though, because it's like they're having that conversation and Arthur just walks on in. He doesn't even knock, just walks on in.
It's so awkward.
doesn't say anything. He just sits down and doesn't even look at them either. He just kind of stares off into space.
And then let's see, what does he say? He says, does he say that Tatiana is there at the house? That like they've brought her there?
All he says is there's a woman here to see you, Mr. Kaladin.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah. To which I always kind of think that right off the bat he's suspicious.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. This is like, maybe not in that moment, but once they start walking down the hall,
get down the
sure.
hallway, yeah.
Because Arthur's, it hit me that Arthur was being more pleasant to him than he'd been in their previous meeting.
Right.
He was talking a lot of shit to him when they first talked out at the stables before, and then now he's like, oh, she's out here, she's just arrived. Like
the stables.
He's being a lot more pleasant. And then, I think he can kind of tell what's going on because he's like, can I use the bathroom first?
You can piss outside by the stables.
Yeah. He's like, we're going to go out to the stables.
But the stables. Can't you hold it?
But I do like the move. Like, as they're going down the hallway, just as they pass that set of stairs, Arthur throws all his weight into him to knock him down the stairs. And then we just get kind of a back and forth. It's 3 scenes together here. It's a boxing match that has kind of transpired between the cavalry and the Peaky Blinders.
Finn's the one that's boxing, I think.
No, Finn rode the horse. Yeah, Finn rode the horse in the race. And then John boxes, and also Isaiah boxes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
What percentage are you sure?
Like 95.
Okay.
And then, I don't know, Finn might be boxing towards the end. There's a lot of people with shirts off.
You think there's several people showing several people boxing, like a montage, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It goes back and forth between the boxing match, Arthur fighting Kaladin, and then Michael with that random girl, whoever that is.
Rando.
Yeah. At the boxing match, Tommy and Grace's uncle have a little talk. Grace's uncle just says that he's concerned about some of the stories he's heard about them. And I love how Tommy doesn't even try to, like, do anything. He's just like, why don't you just shut up and smile? He's like, that's what I'm doing. Or he says, shut up and drink the wine, something like that.
Well, and there was a couple of funny parts, too, because, like, when he first comes up, he says something about, it's like we're two generals watching our men do battle or whatever. And Tommy says something about, aren't we a little close to the battle to be generals?
Yeah.
And then the other thing, too, was he said, you know, the only reason most of us came today to bless this union was because of your exemplary war record.
Yeah.
So obviously they have just a little bit of a tad of respect for him.
Yeah, at least on the battlefield.
Yeah, battlefield-wise, even if they were late to the battle.
Yeah. Arthur's fight with this guy was, like, I realized Arthur's having some problems, like, getting all this done, you know? Like, that he's having kind of a mental block here.
Well, instead of just like, it's like he's dragging him into that ring, knocks him down the stairs, he drags him into this, like, a couple of rooms, and instead of just, like, putting him out right then and there, it's like he's just kind of, like, leaving it, I don't know.
He's leaving too much up to chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know he's trying to get him away from everybody, you know, so
Right.
that nobody hears this shot that's about to go off.
Right.
But even still, while he had him on the ground, he could have choked him out or, like, smashed his face into the floor.
Right.
There's options, and
Right.
he was dragging this out way too long.
Right. He didn't have a clear conscience. That's for sure. He had
he's
some
definitely
cloudiness
clouded.
up
Yeah.
there.
So they go back and forth for a little bit. Nothing too notable, but I did like how Arthur gave him the fish hook. That was pretty brutal.
Guy's thumb bit though, man.
Yeah,
At
I
one
fish
point-
hooked a kid one time that I thought was gonna bite my finger off. Like,
Ooh.
that was pretty brutal. But yeah, the scene where he's about to shoot him, and
Man, he's breaking down.
yeah, and he is just having a complete breakdown there. Like that's definitely one of what's the actor's name that plays Arthur?
God. Man, I can't think of it all of a sudden. I'd usually know it, but I can't think of it because he's a really good actor.
But that is one of his best moments for me in the show. Like, just the most believable moments.
It's Paul something, isn't it?
Huh?
It's Paul something.
I don't know. Yeah, and Arthur finally pulls the trigger. I don't think anybody notices the sound except for Michael and that girl.
Well, the girl's really the only one. Well, yeah, Michael probably knows this too, but he's just trying to play
He
it
probably
off,
already knows what's happening.
Yeah. Paul Anderson is his name, by the way.
Paul Anderson.
Yeah.
He and Cillian Murphy both really capture that, like, tortured soul look in the eyes, you know? Like,
yeah, for sure.
somebody that's just contemplating every decision they've ever made in their life.
Right.
So after everybody kind of starts getting pushed out for the night, is this where we have the scene with Grace and Tommy in the bedroom?
Yes, yeah, they're looking out the front window, basically.
Yeah. And there's not much there. She's just saying,
She's asking if the business is done, basically.
yeah.
Yeah, which we all know it's not. Because it's only episode 1.
Yeah. And this was just kind of a bad start to the business.
Yes.
So I still don't know this guy's name right off the top. I think he might have said it when he introduced himself to Polly, but I've just been calling him the painter.
Yeah, he did. I can't remember. No, it's not Oswald. I forget. He said it before.
But he comes to Polly's room, and he says that the water in his car froze, and they said it's okay if he stays the night over. Stays the night over, stays overnight. I was like,
Stays the night over.
both ways sound weird. If he stays overnight, and he's come to Polly's room with what I presume is probably a bottle of champagne and a couple glasses.
Right.
Um,
Reuben Oliver.
okay, Oliver. Okay. But Polly won't let him in, so he says that if she's ever in London, that she should come by and see him. And he just kind of leaves it at that. She takes the bottle from him.
That's what I like, man.
Yeah, and
I'll
then
take that bottle, though.
when she closes the door, she's holding that revolver too. So I don't know why she was so suspicious of this guy, but
I don't think she's suspicious of him. It's just I think she's just suspicious of, like, who's coming to my door.
yeah, I
she's
guess
just trying
there's
to
not
be
like a
weird, too.
peephole on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't have the Ring doorbell app,
Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Who's there? So then Arthur goes to find Linda at the church. Is this church like on their property?
I don't think so.
I'm
Maybe
pretty-
nearby, but
I'm like, isn't it the same church where they got married?
yeah, I believe so. It looks like it is.
Well, it's got to be right there.
Yeah,
Everybody
it's
else
not very,
didn't even take
it's-
carriages
let's
from
say
the
it's-
church. Everybody
it's
else
not-
walked.
Yeah, it's not very far because when they were riding the carriage, it wasn't. Yeah, it was just like down the road. But it's, I mean, you say it was probably there before. Of course, I think the house was there before. It's not like they built it because think it was the uncle that said something to him about this house used to be. No, I think that's Tom. I think that's Alfie later on was saying something about that. Anyway,
What does he say?
I think he said something about this, that the house used to be some, I don't know, like some gambler's house or something like that, and he lost it, or I don't remember exactly what it was.
Huh.
But I
Yeah.
don't think that Tommy built the house, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I don't think that's right either. Yeah, no, I think that it was a pre-existing house. So Arthur goes to find Linda at the church. And they just have a little, I don't know, they should have a little conversation about,
Jesus.
yeah, well, where Arthur's at, you know.
Yeah.
She tells him that it was, would have been a beautiful speech. I guess the most memorable little line from this bit is where she tells Arthur, and isn't it nice to still be yourself at this time of the night?
Depends on which self you're talking
Well,
about.
yeah, that's why I thought it was ironic, because he's more himself.
Pre-Linda.
Yeah, and doing that stuff, like
Yeah.
killing that guy,
Yeah.
than he was, with kind of how she's trying to make him act,
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Man, I forgot they burned this guy.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot. I keep forgetting that they did that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So then we get the scene of Johnny Dogs and a couple of the Lee boys taking Kaladin's body out to the woods to burn and bury him.
The smell, though, man.
Burn his body and bury the ashes.
Like, just from working in a hospital, man, and like in the OR area and smelling like this smell of like burning skin. I mean, to burn a whole body like that, dude, has to like absolutely stink.
Oh, I'm sure it reeks, yeah.
Because I mean, just the burning of skin does not smell very good at all.
No. I'm sure it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Comparatively to other smells that they'd be accustomed to back then.
Doo-doo in the streets.
Yeah, right? Just rivers of shit through the streets.
What's that smell? I don't smell anything.
So the next day, all the Shelbys head out to Birmingham
in their own cars.
in their own cars. We got to showcase all
I was
these
like,
nice new cars.
seriously.
They go back to the gambling parlor, which is still kind of their main base of operations in Birmingham. Just kind of a quick round of hellos to everybody. A couple characters that we haven't seen since last season. I did see Scudboat and Lovelock in there.
Yep.
And they go to the back where there's a vault that has not been there before. This massive vault.
It's definitely been added, yeah.
And they open it up, and it is just loaded with cash. Polly and Tommy pull some cash out of their pockets, add it to the pile. I did like the line that Tommy tells her, we've got more money here than all those toffs put together.
Yeah.
All of Grace's stuck-up family that they had to deal with. They've got more money than all of them combined.
And you're willing to gamble it all on one robbery.
Yeah, and Polly basically just replies, you're willing to gamble it all on one robbery. Which, at this point, we don't know what that means.
Right. What robbery? Gonna rob the local liquor store?
He's so small time for them.
Yes. Well, sometimes you just need to get back to your roots. You need
You
to go.
son of a bitch, I'm in.
Right.
Yeah, and Tommy's a gambling man, so he's willing to risk it.
I'm a gambling man.
Gambling man.
You got to know when to hold 'em, when to fold 'em.
All right, well, that's going to do it for Season 3, Episode 1. We'll be back next week with Episode 2. Until then, you can make sure to follow me at Joshua Lynn Gary on Twitter. And let's see. Yep, my Twitch too. GhostLad676. And what's the YouTube?
Is Survived by Productions? Yeah. Is Survived by Productions. Yes, that's it.
You can go catch our episodes on YouTube there also. We should be starting video podcasts, hopefully the next few episodes. So those will be up there also.
Are we gonna do the fan club? Where people can send in mail to P.O. Box.
Oh God!
No, I'm just kidding.
Literal mail.
If you want your kids to join the Red Right Hand Podcast fan mail,
oh God, we'll send you a special decoder ring.
Oh my God, this is turning into the what was that, Christmas? What is that show?
It's Christmas Story.
Christmas Story. Yeah. Be sure to drink your Ovaltine.
Now, if you want to keep up with us, just make sure to follow us on Twitter. You can follow me on my personal, or you can follow us at Red Right Hand PO1 on Twitter. Yeah. So until next time.
See ya.